humans are evolved from monkeys. A theory which is very well known among Chinese people. Good evening, this is Lisa Lee with BTV Forum, and today we're going to discuss a little bit about human origin. I've always been really fascinated by where humans come from. There's actually three main theories. One is a lot of biblical and Christian leaders believe that human comes from Eden, which is from Adam and Eve, which is the first humans. Another theory, which is very well known among Chinese people, humans are evolved from monkeys. Theory number three is the most well-known. Renowned scientists, they claim that humans come from Africa, which is from the Homo sapiens.
The belief that God had created mankind in his own image and likeness was shared by most Western scientists until the middle of the 19th century. They thought all the creatures of the planet had been conceived by a divine force. That is, until Charles Darwin arrived. Some researchers were already talking about an evolution of the species, but the British naturalist was the first to explain with evidence how evolution might occur. By natural selection. His theory radically changed biology, offering a new explanation of the origin of human beings. It also made him one of the most influential scientists and intellectuals in history. In 1831, Darwin was 22 years old and studying at the University of Cambridge when he was invited as a naturalist to a great expedition. He boarded the HMS Beagle and spent almost 5 years traveling several continents, starting in South America, from which he brought back dozens of live specimens, illustrations, and fossils. These fossils gave him one of the first clues about evolution. For example, observing the remains of a mylodon, a giant animal similar to the sloth, he thought that those similarities were probably not a coincidence. Darwin spent time observing how animal breeders and gardeners crossbred animals of a species to create new varieties. For that creation to be successful, the artificial selection made by man was key. In an essay on demography, Malthus said that as the population in Europe was growing, at one point it would increase much more than the food supplies available, and that would cause a fight for survival. This idea helped Darwin explain how evolution works. In nature, there is a struggle for survival, in which the strongest individual is not necessarily the survivor. Instead, it's the one which best adapts to the environment where it lives. If a living being has any trait that helps him to survive, it will be more successful at reproduction. Those which don't adapt will die without descendants. The creatures with the most success in reproducing pass their traits to their lineage, and so on, until these variations end up becoming a new species. That's why the differences between the Galapagos tortoises were a product of evolution. In a drier environment, those with longer necks could reach the bushes easily in order to get food, whilst those who lived in the humid environment could eat grass and protect themselves from predators, thanks to their shorter neck and the dome-shaped shell. Darwin said that all species, including humans, were not created independently, but they descended from a common ancestor. From then on, life on the planet began to diversify. Later, Darwin published his book titled On the Origin of Species, and he became a celebrity way beyond the scientific community. His findings shook the foundations of Victorian Britain. Like Copernicus in his time, Darwin changed the game by explaining that diversity came from a biological process without any interference from God. Darwin put human beings in the same evolutionary level as all the creatures on the planet. Scientific advances have confirmed his theory, and even the Catholic Church ended up accepting, decades later, that evolution is compatible with faith. And today, more than 150 years after Darwin's theory became known, we know that evolution is a fact. The planet keeps changing, sometimes dramatically, and we keep changing with it.
And I have this great honor to invite this research scholar. He's going to share a little bit about his opinion and his own theory. His name is Alvaro Puentes.
Well, I believe that, I'm a Christian, so I believe that God created man and God created everything. The part that's up for debate is in the Bible. It says that God made man from dirt and formed us and then breathed his spirit into us. But that can be interpreted in a lot of different ways, because in reality, we are made from the dirt. We're made from dying stars. So in a sense, we are made as it says in the Bible. And through which method he created us. Again, it doesn't really say in the Bible, just, he formed us from dirt. But if you think about it, it doesn't say how many days. It says that we were made in 7 days. The whole earth, the whole universe, humans, animals, everything is made in 7 days. If you read more into that, 7 days can mean a lot of different things, because in the Hebrew, it doesn't specify what a day is. We just interpret it the way we interpret it now. So maybe it means 7 epochs or eons, or who knows what it means exactly. But I think God could have made us through all these things, through evolution and through forming us from the dirt. So I don't think they contradict each other. Instead, they complement each other.
Whoa, well said. So this means that you believe in the creationist theory.
Yes.
He was the nation's youngest Eagle Scout at the age of 13, and twice journeyed to Asia before the advent of commercial flight. He attended America's first class on nuclear physics and was a pioneer at the dawn of American aviation. He led expeditions into then remote islands as a member of the famed Explorers Club and was a giant in the golden age of pulp fiction. He was a master mariner, licensed to captain vessels on any ocean, and a United States naval officer who commanded corvettes during World War II. His landmark work on the human mind wrote bestseller lists for 100 consecutive weeks, and he's the most published and translated author of all time. He is L. Ron Hubbard, founder of Scientology.
Well, thanks for watching. There'll be more forums and more discussions that are going to be coming up in my next videos.